Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Footy Banter and Insights. Today we have a very interesting discussion. So, La Liga is at its halfway stage, and what we decided to do was review the table at three different points in time after 6 matches, after 12 matches, and present day La Liga table. And we'll go through a brief regarding what has happened thus far, and then our team will basically break down their views and offer some insights regarding what has happened and what can happen going forward. So, giving a brief introduction about the table this year and about La Liga in general. So, Barcelona had a complete change in management. We had Hansi Flick coming into the club, replacing the club legend Xavi. There were a lot of changes in culture that were made by him in the preseason. And following that, the team had a brilliant run in the first 6 games, as we can see in the table. Madrid decided to bring in possibly the best player in the world, aside from Messi and Ronaldo, which is Mbappe, on a free transfer from PSG. And Atletico did what Atletico do best, which is get, I think, some of the most underrated players and use them and use their talents to make the team stronger. So a player like Julian Alvarez coming in from Manchester City, and a player like Conor Gallagher coming in from Chelsea. So what I'll do is I'll open up the discussion to Manan first. So Manan, what did you think of La Liga so far? And can you tell us, let's say La Liga after 6 games, what were your thoughts?
La Liga has been uh, a story of injuries basically, and how teams have used their squads, and how transition has happened in the top three teams. Um, like for example, Barcelona has adapted fast, but now they have sort of come crashing down, while Real Madrid and Atletico have now adapted to the new players and new systems and are flourishing right now. It's also been a story of two halves of the season until now. So, for the first about 12 games, Barcelona was phenomenal. They had about an 11-point lead over Real Madrid and Atletico de Madrid. And since then, they have lost the lead completely, and they sit third in the table right now. And Real Madrid and Atletico de Madrid have both played one game less. So it's shaping up to be an exciting season. And like every few years, Atletico de Madrid, they have these seasons where it's a strong possibility that they might win the whole thing. And this might be one of those seasons as well.
So if we go to the first, let's say the first 6 games of the season, so as we can see, there was a clear difference between the top three clubs, right? Barca began in a crazy manner. I think they conceded hardly 2 or 3 goals in their first 6 games. Even from a goal difference point of view, they were killing teams literally. And if we go through the second phase, which is the 12th match league table, so 11 wins out of 12, 33 points on board. And they were comfortably, I think, doing really well. So, Rishabh, can you tell us what went wrong for them in the last part of this? Like, let's say from the 18th and 19th game onward.
Actually, before that, I want to just say what went right for them before we go
Sure,
to what
sure,
went
please
wrong,
do.
right? Like
Sure.
in Spain, we have never really seen the German football kind of a system with a high line, very high press, uh, you know, like, uh, and just fast transitions. So we have seen the high press, but we have not seen the gegen press system of Germany, where like there's fast transition after you win the ball. With Barcelona teams with the high press, they would still keep the ball, move it around, and then try to find openings. So this was something that La Liga teams and players and managers were not used to, and Barcelona had that early advantage where they had a very high line and teams were not able to understand their tactics, and they could manage to win all these games. After this, two things happened. Teams started figuring out that okay, they have a high line, so we just need to like put a ball over them and due to the various injuries at Barcelona as well, like the team is not as solid as what the results show. And secondly, their star player Lamine Yamal, he got injured, so Barcelona has not won a single game where Yamal has not started. So these two things changed after the midway point of the first half of the season.
No, in addition to that, if you look at the El Clasico also, the high line that Manan just mentioned, I think every team started like just preparing themselves in the week just for that timing of that run. Everyone is going to launch one ball and they're through. So I think initially no one understood. I mean, you look at the El Clasico, Mbappe was caught offside 8 times. If he made those runs 4 times, if he timed his runs perfectly, we could have had a 4-4. But that's the earlier part of the season. Nobody did that. Now that teams are, coming, and their bench strength is not that great. They have a good starting 11, 12, at the most 13 players. But then after that, there's a little bit of a drop off in terms of the quality. So I think injuries have played a major role, but at the same time, the other teams have also figured out. So now I think we need to figure
Excuse me.
a different way of playing maybe a high line, but you know, a little bit more cautious, a bit more of not too open football, as they say.
Just a quick question. Which was the last German coach which Real Madrid had taken uh, in the Florentino Perez era?
In Perez era, I don't think there was one, but Bernd Schuster was the last German coach, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, and
Yeah.
that was when Jorge Valdano was the president.
And he was fired very soon.
That was a
No,
quick
he
fire.
actually won two La Ligas. Huh? Bernd Schuster.
He was there for a season, 2007
No, no,
8.
no. Schuster won two La Ligas, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it? Let's just check this. Because I was just going through the last German coach which was there. And of course, it was Schuster.
Okay, I think he was there for just one season. Capello won it
Hmm.
in 2007, and then
Correct.
this guy won it in 2008. And then Perez came in, and then he fired Schuster and got Pellegrini in, and started the
Correct.
Neo Galacticos era with Ronaldo, Kaká,
Correct. Correct.
Benzema,
Correct.
Alonso,
Yeah.
all these guys.
That was a big,
Yeah.
yeah, that was the next big Galactico era. So, yeah, Rishabh, you had any other comments on this?
No, I think Barcelona because of their injuries and the teams figuring out. Atletico had a lot of play. Initially had they still have a lot of players, but Simeone didn't know how to use them, or he couldn't fixate on a formation. Now in the last 7 games, if you look at it, I know we've not got there, but for the last 7 games, they've been performing. They know what they need to do. They know who's going to come on after 60 or after the 75th minute. So now what's happening is there's a formula that's working well for them, and that is why you can see them at the top of La Liga. So the likes of Alvarez, there's one more, Alexander Sorloth. These two are the main players who've been performing really well, and they have their CDMs ready. Rodrigo De Paul or Griezmann, those sort of players are performing at a great level. So I think for them that's worked out well. Is that it's taken time for the formula to come up, but the formula is now working really well for them. And the Christmas break comes at a very good time for Barcelona and a very bad time for Atletico, because now this whole thing resets. Now it's a 20 game La Liga, because that's where now you need to perform. These 18 games are forgotten. Where you are doesn't really matter. So now it becomes a 20 game title race, and let's see who wins from it.
So with Atletico, like what is interesting is that for many years, Simeone has been trying to make Atletico a more fluid football playing team, and like every few years, he sort of tries to have that iteration. And at the beginning of a season, he'll try stuff, and then it won't work, or it will work for a few games, and then he'll just go back to his old system. But this time it feels that it's clicked properly. It's taken a while. So they had like all these new players. I mean, you mentioned UV, Julian Alvarez and Conor Gallagher, but they have had two or three other very under the radar good signings. One was Alexander Sorloth, who was one of the top scorers of La Liga last year with Villarreal. Coincidentally, he was also at Crystal Palace a couple of seasons back. Also, they signed this defender Robin Lenormand from Real Sociedad. He was a starting centre back for Spain at the Euros that they won this year. Like very smart, shrewd signings. Although Robin Lenormand has also been injured for a long time, I think he's just about to come back. But this team took a while to come together to gel, and then Griezmann has started doing Griezmann things again. After the initial period of bedding in, Julian Alvarez has started scoring and assisting and contributing to the team. One more player who has come out of nowhere is Simeone's own son, Giuliano Simeone. So he's doing a great role off the bench. So now things have sort of clicked in gear. And I mean, teams in transition or teams with a few new starting players, they need time to gel and to come together, which is what has happened with Atletico, and now they are flowing.
So, just a quick question for you guys. Do you guys think that Atletico will be able to kind of sustain this at the top of the table? Like, what do you guys think? Like, do you guys actually think that Atletico might just power on from here and win the title this year?
I think it is very possible. They have a good squad. They have good, uh, like more or less two players for every position, which is something that has never happened in their history, or like modern history, where all of us may have started following them. So I think there's a very good chance. If Griezmann transfers to MLS in the Jan transfer window, I don't think it will, but there's always rumors with Griezmann moving to the US. Then I don't see them powering on. But with the present squad, I mean, there's a very good chance that it's a three-horse race and they can be competitive right at the end of the season.
Yeah, I echo Manan's thoughts completely, and I really don't think Griezmann will transfer given the
Mhm.
form he's been showing right now. But I think Barca at one point of time, I really felt that I think this year was theirs to lose because they were going so well. And Madrid with Mbappe not settling in a proper manner or not, let's say, playing as per the team would demand, I think that has been a big bone of contention for them. So I think Atletico have their best chance to win a La Liga after a long time. Uh, if it's not this year, then I think it'll be harder and harder in the coming years because I see Real Madrid doing much, much better. In fact, like after Rishabh gives his comments on this, I'd love to understand Manan's views on Real Madrid as well.
No, I kind of think that Madrid, Real might just win it because if you looked at the games just before the Christmas break, Mbappe is he's not really settled, but it's not like the stats are bad. I think he scored 10 or 12 goals in about 14, 15 games. That's not bad. I think what they expected out of them is the Ronaldo kind of a stats, like for 50 goals or 20 goals in 13 games or something. So the stats are not bad. I think he'll settle up. I think this Christmas breaks gives him a lot of break and a lot of undue attention that was on him just to perform. It kind of gives them the break and then focuses on him to settle down. And I think in the next, and Madrid comes up in clutch moments. So the next Clasico at at Montjuic and at Atletico Madrid, I think these guys will perform and get back because the team is young. The team is very young, and I expect them to come back in form pretty quickly. And you can see that. And Ancelotti is meant for those moments in that March, April when it gets very tough. That's when you see the best of Real. So I'm still hoping that Real gets into form. For Atletico, yes, they have a 1 point lead, but they'll have to continue. And uh, they're winning games 1-0 or 2-1. I think that sort of a streak you can't carry on. You just cannot. There has to be like those 2-0, 3-0s where you can kind of you've done with your scoring in the first half and then you can just control the game. You can't be going full throttle for the whole 90 minutes. So that is something that I am wary of Atletico. But let's see if they can carry on for the whole season. That's brilliant. But I have my serious doubts about that.
So one thing that is playing in favor of Atletico compared to someone like Madrid or Barcelona is the fact that their defense is significantly stronger. I feel they are like stingy in defense, right? They have conceded only 12 goals in the first 18 games, and that's actually very typical of a Simeone team, right? And that I feel that difference between say a Madrid and Barcelona and Atletico might kind of give an edge to Atletico in the title race. I feel so. Let's see. Manan, what do you think of Real Madrid?
So before we go to Real, I just wanted to share some more about Atletico de Madrid because uh, it's actually not true that they have been only winning 1-0 or 2-1, something like that. They have been winning by decent margins also since this winning run has started, and they recently had a game of where they won 4-3 against Sevilla. So that's sort of a little atypical of Atletico, but yeah, so going on to Real Madrid. So Real again, like they had a very big change where Kylian Mbappe was transferred to Real Madrid. Like this is something that's going to change the dynamic of the club from top down completely, because you have a Champions League winning team and then you bring arguably one of the best players of the world, and then he's competing for space and position with the best player in your team, so or the best players in your team. So it changes a lot, and it takes a time for all of these players to settle down. And Real Madrid too have had very critical injuries. They were operating with a thin defensive squad, or thin squad in terms of defense, and with the long-term injuries to Militao and to Alaba and to Carvajal. They've also been working with like an academy player called Asensio playing centre back, or Chouameni playing centre back, and Lucas Vasquez playing right back. So that has affected them. But what changed in terms of having an uptick in their performance was through injuries again. Initially, at the beginning of the season, they were trying to fit in all four attacking superstars in the same team, which is Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo Goes, and Jude Bellingham. Now, due to injuries to Rodrigo and to Vinicius, they have been missing games, and the team has gone back to the structure they had last season, where Bellingham was playing like a sort of a number 10, but like number 10 further forward, sort of like something between a false nine and number 10. And Mbappe and one of the other two, Vinicius or Rodrigo, were playing as the two split strikers. And that change has helped bring out the best again from Bellingham. Mbappe is playing much better, and Vinicius and Rodrigo Goes are also performing better than the beginning of the season. So that change has also helped them. It's also helped them become more solid because one less attacking minded player and one more central midfield player has joined the team.
I think for me, Manan said that I think they won 4-3, but telling you, I think the fourth goal that came from Atletico was that in the 95th minute. That's what I'm saying. In a title race, you can have those 2-1s and 1-0s or 4-3s or 3-2s. Fair enough. I do agree to that. But I think in a season you can have about 10 or 10 odd games of that, and then the remaining ones a little comfortable with. You can't be having the other way around. With Atletico, it feels like that, even though they've conceded. But those guys win it. These guys have to go full throttle for the whole 90 minutes just to get 3 points. So that is why my contentions were they've not really had that comfortable win where you say 3-0, they just go out and kill the opposition in the first half. Then you can just control because the defense is great, no doubt about it. But they need to just a tight, just have that attacking play wherein they can score 2-3 and then they can just slack it off. That doesn't happen with Atletico. It's not the style. It's never been the style of Simeone. So that's the only concern. Otherwise, the run that they are on, it looks brilliant. But at the same time, you also have to take into account that Real Madrid is also behind you. So as long as you can continue performing like that, great. But there will be slip ups as I can see.
Just to put things in context here, so the last game, which was one of the biggest games of the season, was Atletico away to Barcelona. And in the 96th minute, Atletico, if I'm not wrong, Sorloth scored the goal. And if you remove that goal from the equation, Madrid are top, and Barca and Atletico are tied on points, with Barca ahead of them in terms of goal difference. So I think it's a very, very fine margin. I think honestly, this is the closest La Liga race that we will be witnessing in a long time, because there are actually three teams who actually can win it properly. Usually, you have one team dropping off, but this season, given the entire structure in play, I think it'll go down to the wire. And
It
actually, yeah, go
sorry,
for it.
sorry. So sorry. I think when was the last time that they won? Do you remember, UV?
It
Atletico,
was when
I,
Suarez was there with them, and it was 3 or 4 seasons back, maybe.
And that
let me
season, I
confirm
think
that.
they,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And that season, I think those guys were scoring also freely. I kind of remember that. This season again, these guys need, yeah, 2008, 19, no,
Wait.
2013, 14.
No, no, no. After that, they won it with Suarez in the team. Yeah.
That was 2018, 2018, 19.
2021.
Hmm.
They won twice under Simeone. One was the
Hmm.
13-14 season, and one was the 2021 season.
Hmm.
So that's what
Hmm.
I'm saying. That season,
Hmm.
I think Costa was the striker.
No, no, no. So in the
2013.
first time, Costa was the striker, and
Yeah,
the second
yeah.
time, Suarez was the main striker.
Torres.
Costa was still in the squad. And the
Yeah,
first time, Costa was the main striker, and David Villa was still in the squad.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
again, this time they have a great strike. They've got two strikers here.
Hmm.
Just expecting them to be lethal as they were around that, as Costa and Suarez were.
So
Suarez
what
took
happens, Yogi,
Suarez.
with La Liga is, that the seasons where Atletico are competitive, like the 2 seasons that they won or this season, are always exciting because Real and Barcelona are always going to be there. So even the last time when Atletico won, I think going in the last 5 games of the season or something like that, like last few games of the season, all three of them were pretty much tied on points. So whenever Atletico is going to be good, La Liga is going to be exciting because Real and Barcelona are going to be there or thereabouts most seasons. And what I've seen is like the season where Atletico are good, Real and Barcelona are also good. Like it's never been Atletico and one other team. Like there's many times when Real, like last year, Real won at a canter. उसके पहले वाले साल Barcelona won at a canter. So it's like when Atletico plays well, all three of them are competing.
So just to let's say give further evidence to that, in the 2021 season, Atletico finished on 86 points,
Hmm.
2 points ahead of Real and 5 points ahead of Barca. In that season, Atletico scored 67 goals and conceded 25. Barcelona scored 85 goals but conceded 38. So that is where the championship was won or lost. And in the 13-14 season, Atletico had 90 points, whereas Barca and Madrid had 87 each. And again, just to put in context, again, the goals allowed by Atletico was only 26, whereas they scored 77, whereas both Barca and Real scored over 100 goals. Like the goal difference is actually crazy from both of them. But
Mhm.
I think defense, whenever Atletico's defense has really outperformed the others, is usually when they are in that title race. So I think what Varun had also mentioned earlier, that 12 goals out of 18, I think if they can keep up that momentum, I think it can really help them seal the Liga this year as well.
Actually, it's not the defense. The defense of Atletico is more or less going to hold up every season, barring like this a season odd here or there. It's just that when the attack sort of steps up a bit, it's never stepped up to the level of Real or Barcelona, but it just like gives you 20% more to convert those 0-0s into 1-0 or like 1-1 into 2-1. These kind of results. That's when Atletico play better.
So with Griezmann, with let's say Alvarez and Solar, I think they have the makings for a dream season this time. Also,
Mhm.
the fact that in the Champions League they'll be like I think one of the contenders to finish top eight. So I think
Mhm.
again that'll be helpful for them.
True.
Just
True.
another query, I may be wrong in this, but is Simeone the longest serving manager across the top five leagues right now?
He should be.
He should
Yeah,
be.
right.
At
Yeah.
least among the top teams, he definitely is the longest serving manager. He's what 15 years at Atletico de Madrid. I don't think any top league has a manager who's lasted that long.
Which is crazy, right? Like if we look at
Yeah,
it, like, and I think he's also the top paid manager, if I'm not wrong, for a team
I
like
think so.
Atletico.
I think he's the top paid manager in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets paid 20 million, I think. Pep gets 15.
I don't think Pep is arguing right now.
Yeah, considering he's getting 15, it's a little bit more.
But interesting. So, any other comments on the La Liga overall or on the title race?
I think it's just an exciting title race to witness at this stage, and hopefully all three teams can push on and keep it exciting for a long period of time. Yeah,
Just
and
one,
let's
just
hope the
one
injured
question,
players
Manan.
get back. Uh,
Just one question, man. We see Bilbao in number four,
mhm,
not too far away.
Not too
Like,
far.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah, I know for a fact that they will drop off, but any
mhm.
comments on Bilbao? I'm not following Bilbao closely at all, so that's why I wanted to
Yeah,
ask
I
your opinion.
haven't followed Bilbao either, to be honest. Especially, and in fact, like I used to know at least what their players were and stuff, but the past couple of seasons they have sort of gone off my radar a bit. Um, I think, like from a like a as a romantic story, Bilbao winning the league would be just like Leicester City kind of, you know, because the challenge that Bilbao has is something that no other team anywhere in Europe has, which is that they only can play players from the Basque region. So, Basque region is a region in Europe. A part of it is in Spain, part of it is in France. And Athletic Bilbao only play players from the Basque region. And that is like you're restricting your talent pool to so little, and then you're still one of the teams that has never been relegated from La Liga, one of the teams that is always in the top 10, sometimes competing and finishing in the top 4. It is crazy. And if they somehow manage to win the league, this is going to be like a story of epic proportions. And just to give a contrast, Real Sociedad are also from the same region. Athletic Bilbao and Real Sociedad, they are sort of local rivals. And in late 80s, until late 80s, Sociedad also had the same policy of playing players only from the region or grown up in the region or trained in the region. And then they decided that, okay, we need to let go of this policy because otherwise we cannot be competitive. And Athletic Bilbao, they still have it.
Traditions over success.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think you got the right. I think like last season you saw Girona was up there for about 20 21 games. Could be a good romantic story, but I think I feel like it'll be for you to for you to be in the title contention. You need to be ahead and not behind, because you know that Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico will try and catch you. So right now they are what 5 points behind, and having played a game more. I think if they finish top four, that's a great job done by. I think Valverde is the coach there. It's there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I think that's a great job that he'll do. But for you to even have a chance, I think you have to be at, ahead. Like you had, if you had to be winning the La Liga at this stage, you had to be at what 45 for them to even think about going into the last 20 games. So it's a bridge too far, but like I said, uh, nothing is impossible.
Just a quick question on that. So, since we mentioned Valverde as a coach, how many games did Valverde lose at Barca in his 2 seasons in charge?
Four.
I four, yeah, four, I think four.
Four across 2 seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
four.
I would
Four.
say
Four.
six.
Yeah, I remember the stat as seven. We'll have to recheck it. But across 2 seasons, I think he lost only seven. Either it would have been La Liga or it would have been across, but I think across, so it would be crazy. So I'm assuming it'll be La Liga.
yeah. I think it's just that he lost all the key knockout matches.
Cool.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, and do let us know who do you think will win the La Liga title this season. Do you guys think Atletico Madrid will kind of keep their form up to win the title this year, or do you think someone like Madrid or Barcelona is going to catch up to them? And we'll see you next time. Bye bye.